Hi, I'm Bryleigh Davis, and I teach English 1 at Airline High School in Bossier Parish, Louisiana. My students are 9th graders, and in our class, we are focused on building strong reading, writing, and critical thinking skills through both the classic and contemporary literature pieces. I am most passionate about helping students realize their potential and ability to do the hard things in class. I love seeing them grow in confidence as they tackle the complex texts, learn to express themselves clearly, and discover how my class can connect to their real lives. The lesson ties in with our current 9th grade HMH unit. The objective of our lesson is for students to learn how the theme is developed throughout a text, or in this case, a poem. One of our biggest pushes in 9th grade English right now is finding that condition within the standard, and not just finding the standard alone, but looking for that how. So students will learn how the emotion and communication influence conflict in William Blake's poem, A Poison Tree, but they're also going to be able to relate this back to our focus text, which is Romeo and Juliet. Students will then use a TPCast strategy to break down the poem and then participate in higher order thinking gallery walks that are around my room. This will challenge them to make that text-to-text connections themselves, but it will also challenge them to make a text-to-self connection. So prior to this lesson, students have been studying the cause and effects of conflict in Romeo and Juliet. We've studied figurative language, poetry elements, and characterization. So the lesson is a chance for the students to apply those same analytical skills to a new and independent text, both with a partner and by themselves. But also it will be able to hopefully apply to their lives, which is always my ultimate goal in a lesson. In this class, you'll see a variety of learners with different backgrounds and reading levels. To support everyone, I use graphic organizers such as the TPCast to strengthen analysis, preferred seating, collaborative discussions, and shoulder partners so that all students can engage in the meaningful conversation that we have in our room. Throughout this lesson, students will be reaching their potential by analyzing, discussing, and connecting. But more importantly, they're showing their capability and to reflect and think for themselves. All right, for stanza 1, let's go ahead. Kayla, read stanza 1. Stanza 2, Ellison. Stanza 3, Elizabeth. Stanza 4, Levi. Okay?
I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told him not, my wrath did grow.
And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles, and with soft, deceitful wiles.
And I drew both day and night till a foreign apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine.
And into my garden stole, when the night had
Veiled
the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree.
Great, thank y'all. This next time I'm going to read it through, and what I want you to do is I want you to circle any vocabulary words. These could be words you're unfamiliar with, or words that you think you know what they mean, but you're not 100% in context. So it says, I was angry with my friend, I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe, I told it not, my wrath did grow. Okay, looking at just stanza 1 and 2, raise of hand, is there any words that we're unfamiliar with? Go ahead, Zach. Wrath. I usually like to define that one anyways, since it is a repetitive word. Caden? Wiles. Wiles tends to be one that I don't think most of us have heard. Ben? Foe. Foe is another one I like to usually note. Go ahead, Mason. Stole. Which one? Told my wrath did end. Raise a hand. Can anyone tell me what wrath typically means? Judah?
Kind of like
Anger. It's normally a very strong emotion, right? Anger is, we will refer to this as anger when we refer to wrath, but it could be fury, rage. Mad is almost too small. So yeah, bigger words, but anger. Foe. What about that word? Go ahead, Kayla. Enemy. Good. Okay. So when I look at this, all right, tone-wise, give me a 1 if you think this seems like a positive poem so far. 2 if you think negative. 3 if it sounds more on the neutral end. Go. 1 positive, 2 negative, 3 more neutral. Okay, can you explain to me, Mary, why do you think more on the neutral end?
Because on one side, he talks about his feelings with his friends, so then he doesn't have that anger.
Good.
And so it resolves it, makes it positive. And then on the other side, he doesn't talk to his enemy about the problem he's having, and it causes his anger to grow, and he's more negative.
Good. Love it. Anyone agree or disagree? Want to tell me why you found it more negative if you were one of those, or do you agree with her statements? We all good? Okay. Great. Okay, for number 2, what I would like you guys to do. First, I want you to go through and I want you to highlight for tone words with your shoulder partner, see if you guys can come to an agreement on something. I then want you to go back through and with your shoulder partner again, I want you guys to try to break down the text. one thing I really want you to pay attention to in stanza 2, why is the author choosing words like watered and sunned when they do this? So again, shoulder partners 2, 2, and 2. Don't forget, Elle, you can partner with me and Ava, okay? All right, go.
In the first 5 and 6, it's saying that it's like scared. Not really scared.
We could say they feared and thunder, snow. Yeah, and tears, sun and snow.
The apple was hope because this is bright. This is bright. It does say bright. And my born apple bright. The next line just said that, and my foe beheld it shine. So I don't know what it was after.
Talk to the person, figure out what's going on, like talking to him. He wasn't mad anymore. He was like the morning was like he was like trying to cover it up. He's glad to see them more. Like who would be like glad to like cover up who they are.
Okay.
To see them more. And also in 16 it says unchecked beneath the tree. You know how trees get nutrients from like the ground.
Right.
So it like probably the poisonous is in the roots and like underground there. It's like left it out.
Okay, yeah. And this is what I really love about poetry. I love that poetry can be interpreted in so many different ways. There's never one side to poems. You can always dig deeper or find a different opinion if you wanted to. And so we have two totally different thoughts. One is essentially my narrator has seeked revenge and won out. Okay, their foe has died, where Zayden thinks, well, actually, I think they've just resolved their anger. The issue is gone, and I heard that same opinion in second block. So really great ideas from both of you guys. Good with green. Thank you. Ava, you catch. Good. So we're going to do what I call a higher order thinking gallery walk or hot questions. And so if you notice, I have a couple of sticky notes up on my boards, and I have 2 more that we'll put outside just to help alleviate the amount of people in the classroom. But these sticky notes are level 2 and level 3 questioning. So level 2 questions are questions where I'm asking a question about the text, but it's not a surface level question. There can be more than one answer. Level 3 questions are questions where I'm diving in a little deeper. I'm looking at it as a real world situation. Okay, so part of this is deciding with your group where you guys fall. And the next part is trying to see if you agree or disagree with the writing on the walls already. Good? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give us a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's my last group? 6? I think y'all haven't grabbed it. Okay. 4 did, yeah.
Who's 4?
They're over that corner.
So like looks can be deceived like this. Yeah, looks can be deceived. Yeah, like 10%. Yeah, I think anger grows the more you go.
True. Can you reference that in your answer, that we know that the foe did something? Because you gave me an answer, right? But try to add back in, yes, connect it back to the poem. So is it a learned behavior because an experience must occur to make someone wish for revenge? Okay, so add that in. So our foe, well, and it shows too, think about it, if I had wrath, is my wrath always there?
No.
When did it go away?
When the foe, I think the foe died. So when the foe died, the wrath went away.
Okay, that's true, but think about it too, at the beginning, my wrath was there. When did it go away?
When they talked.
I talk it out, right? When I don't talk it out, that's when it ate at me. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. 45 seconds to record your thoughts.
Quotation, I was angry with my foe. And then
Him crying and showing, hiding with wrath made that he was very vengeful of him and he didn't like him, but no matter what, he still like.
it was because of other people.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, that was your timer to rotate again. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 outside, 5 to 6, 6 inside to 1. Rotate, rotate.
That's number 2.
2. That's okay. Not worried about it. Not worried about your slanty writing.
They're really
because everybody knows that the monk using Capulets are
and they're like expressing their frustration with the different sides. Do we disagree with blue or just say brown? Just like I said, we keep it going. Just we agree with brown.
And remember, this is our main objective is to determine our theme for the day. Okay, so that is our main objective, but not just determine, but find the how. Reminder, when I look at a reader's circle, okay, my reader's circle will show me the what in this far category. So I have my what here. This is what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find theme in this case. So now what you have to determine is the how, okay? How is my theme developed, okay? Is it through author's craft, things like word choice, imagery, figurative language, illustrations? We didn't have illustrations, so that would be a bad one to pick. Is it through elements and structure, plot, the pacing, the tone, point of view, characterization? Or is it determined through our literary effects like mood, irony, symbolism, or motifs, which is essentially symbols? So you have to decide, how did our author develop it? And we broke down figurative language, but we also broke down tone. There's, of course, the story structure in its own, and that's what we look at with shifts. So you have to make that determination. How did our author develop our theme?
It's not a literal.
Like, did she get revenge, or did she like
interpretation? So you could.
It's up for
debate. It's how you determine. So Ava and Zayden probably have very different themes, because Ava's theme is probably more on the fact that he did seek his revenge, right? And his foe dies. Where Zayden's would be more on the resolving of their anger. Very different. So you can have a different opinion.
Which one you agree with, and like,
or if you have a totally different thought, it does not have to be either of those. That's why I like literature so much. This is individual, which means that I need your voice off while you finish this up for today. Okay, so in your reading log, today we're going to add a level 2 and a level 3 question. So level 2 and a level 3, all I need you to write are the 2 questions that you would ask that are relevant to A Poison Tree and Romeo and Juliet. Remember what level 2 questions are? This is me asking a question about the text, but I'm reading between the lines to find my answer. Zayden, I owe you 1 Viking voucher, but thank you. Much better job today. You did great. Okay, so I do believe that through this lesson, my objectives were met. My overall goal was to go ahead and get my students to realize the how in a theme development. So how is the theme being developed throughout a text? And I do believe through my gallery walk and that TP cast, I was able to see that. I also believe I was able to push my students a step further by having them write their own level 2 and level 3 questioning. That allows them to think on a higher level while also pulling back into the text. And so for this go around, I think that something I really could focus in on is pushing my students to work more independently. I also always think it's better to give them more choices throughout the lesson, and so maybe creating the gallery walk questions themselves so they have a chance to actually debate the questions that they want to debate, not just the ones I come up with, would be something that I think could strengthen this class and strengthen our conversation all around. I also think that pacing is something I always have to work on. I get really caught in the weeds and we end up talking too much. So something I can do differently in the future is just watching my pace and watching my time. So something we'll be doing is in our culminating writing task at the end of the unit, we will go ahead and answer the question of what theme is developed and how is it being developed throughout Romeo and Juliet. So students will be able to use the same skills that were applied in this lesson to that lesson in the future. I want to make sure that my students are always learning in my class, and I do believe that this lesson has pushed them outside of their comfort zone as far as thinking for themselves, learning the how, and learning the what of this lesson. So I'm Bryleigh Davis. I teach English 1 at Airline High School in Bossier Parish, Louisiana, and I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to represent not only our parish, but possibly our state as well. Thank you.